This computer probably has more cores and definitely more RAM than two of your computers combined. Say hello to some of Dell's finest in engineering, the Precision T5500 workstation. So you may recall one of my previous videos on some of the computers I got. One of them was this monster of a config, a pretty fully loaded Precision T5500 workstation, which had a dual Xeon setup, which also adds more memory, bringing the total to 72 gigs of ECC memory in hex channel. I stole the GTX 660 graphics card in it, but I don't think that was there originally anyways. For storage, it came with a 180 gig Intel SSD and a 2TB WD Black hard drive. Powering this monster is an 875 watt 80 plus silver Dell power supply. Yes, that's right. A lot of workstations in this class and time were known to have pretty decently spec'd out power supplies. I know ThinkStations and HPZs come with pretty decent units as well. I said fine engineering in the intro because I really love the modularity of this system. The drives are pretty easy to access and they swing down, revealing access to more of the system. The second CPU is actually not on the motherboard as you'd expect. It instead had its own separate daughter board with 3 slots for memory. The layout internally is just something I don't see a lot of. This was definitely a really cool machine. But anyways, this computer didn't have any huge issues. I mean, memory was flaky, but I gave the entire system a little clean down with some special scrubbing for all the vital components. After reassembling and such, nothing really happened to this computer. Like, over a year of time passed and it was quite literally collecting a bunch of dust. But I got it out of the garage and made it a point to try and get rid of it. It didn't age too well, unfortunately. It's possible I didn't dry things off well enough, but there was like some kind of corrosion to the metal of the case. It looked purely cosmetic, so I didn't really bat an eye, but it had been sitting for a while and I had to mess with the memory a bit because it kept throwing errors, but after all of that, the system did post. So the strange thing about this system was that the BIOS and any other low-level system interaction was just really slow. Like, I did keep in mind that it was a workstation with a lot of error checking memory, but that didn't really excuse the awfully slow BIOS. It turned out that what I just needed was a new CMOS battery, but even when I did swap that out, I got time and date errors. But at any rate, I really didn't want to bother fixing a broken CMOS, whatever that would have entailed. Anyways, as I got software kinda buttoned up on this system, I really needed a graphics card. I used the old 780 Ti I had lying around to get Windows installed, but that was about all it could have done. I was at work one day and I was just messing around looking for something interesting, and after looking at a listing for some nicer mining cards, I saw something beautiful. An RX 480 that the seller is asking only $30 for. I knew I had to get this, so I got some money out of the ATM and my friend Everett took me down about 20 minutes to go meet this guy at a gas station. I got the card, flashed it with a proper VBIOS, and it was good to go. I made sure everything was working properly. While maybe not the best idea, I got Windows 11 to play pretty well with this old hardware. I listed it in a marketplace shortly after and it didn't really get much attention. Despite this having all the resources it did, these computers haven't held their value terribly well, as you can pick one up for around $200. Even though I did have the two X5675 processors and a bunch of RAM, decent graphics card, this didn't look visually appealing, and I have noticed it's been tougher to sell nowadays. So I kind of just left it alone, waiting to get any bites. But something interesting happened. I got a message from someone asking to trade, and I took some interest. This individual offered to trade a 2017 MacBook Air and an Apple Watch Series 6 for my little gaming workstation. It's really funny that this happened because, for context anyway, I was selling my laptop to get a 2-in-1, and I made the joke in class of, what if I got a MacBook just to confuse people by installing Windows? And I needed a temporary machine as I would be out of a laptop for a little bit. The same day I sold my ThinkPad, this guy messaged me saying he had a MacBook Air. Crazy. So knowing that I'd be graduated before this computer would sell, I entertained the idea, and here we are, a 2017 MacBook Air covered in sticker residue and an unassuming Apple Watch. I do plan on selling both, but I might actually replace my iMessage server, which is hosted currently by 2011 iMac I bought a while ago, with this MacBook, though the MacBook would definitely be an easier sell in my opinion. Anyways, I got Windows 11 installed through Boot Camp, and it's been running fine. I also painfully but mostly successfully removed the sticker remnants. I've been using this Mac as my daily driver for the past week or so, and like I said, it's been fine, definitely not the fastest out there. Surprisingly, I got the top spec i7 model along with 8 gigs of RAM and a respectable 256 gig SSD. Wait, stop. What? Hold on a second. I was almost done recording or editing this video, and I didn't really think twice about half of what was going on here. I used the Mac. I'm like, yeah, it's from 2017. I looked into specifications too and didn't really read it, I guess, or something. But as I'm recording like the B-roll, still don't notice it. Then whenever I'm editing and then I really start reading like what's on the screen, I read MacBook Air 13-inch early 2015. Do you see the problem here? Or is it just me? DDR3, I'm like, wait a second, this isn't from 2017. This is an early 2015 MacBook Air. It's always the Apple products. Like, is the Apple Watch even a Series 6? Were they just trying to promote that to be something better than it actually was? I mean, I don't really know much about watches, but something fishy was going on here. I mean, like, it's whatever. But I just thought I should bring attention to that and not post a video and everybody in the comment sections like, Jeffrey, that's not from 2017. Well, I realize that now. So yeah, you guys can enjoy the rest of the video. Just thought I would butt in and share that. It definitely needs a repaste though, as when using this in class, the CPU heats up to over 100 degrees Celsius. As for the watch, don't have an iPhone, so I'm probably going to sell it. So that was a little rundown of how I got a quirky little Dell and ended up with some Apple products. It's funny how that worked out. But you'll be hearing about both my old laptop that I sold and the one I'm going to be replacing it with very soon. But if you guys did enjoy the video, show some love by hitting that like button. While you're there, consider subscribing to the channel and enable notifications for more quality tech content. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching and I will see you later.